This is a 2023 Yamaha 500 two-stroke. We call it the Yzilla. And in this video, we're about to become the first people in the country, if not the world, to hit up a motocross track on one of these beasts. But before we get to that, let me remind you of the story so far. I bought a brand new Yamaha YZ250, and then we ordered a prototype YZ500 kit from BRC Racing in Canada. We proceeded to rip apart our perfectly good YZ250 and set about transforming it into a monster. With the help of Roland from Hardcore Racing, we were able to kick the Yzilla into life for the very first time after just 3 days in the workshop. So we've given our bike a massive increase in horsepower, and she's only a few kilograms heavier than when we started. We haven't had to mess about with the frame, and she's still got that awesome stock Yamaha suspension in there. I think it's safe to say that the Yzilla is going to be an absolute beast on the track. And when I say that we're going to be the first in the world to do this, I really mean it. As far as I know, there's only 2 of these units ready to ride as of right now. This one and the one in Canada with Riley and BRC. And as far as I know, they've only ridden that on the trails. So this really is going to be the first track test of the BRC YZ500 kit. So together with our regular channel test rider Sean, our mission for the day is to run the bike in, figure out the best jetting setup, the right gear and configurations, and just generally hang on for the ride of our lives. You might have noticed that I've been wearing this stuff a lot throughout this project. Wolfsport have come on board to support the channel, and they really have helped bring the Yzilla to life. You guys know that we only like to promote brands on the channel that we truly believe in. So I've chosen to work with Wolf because they're a great British company that ship internationally, that have been heavily involved in our sport for over 40 years. They're big into the scenes that we love, so that's vintage, classic and two-stroke racing, and they honestly put so much back into the sport. So I'm truthfully so proud to be sporting the Wolf logo in our videos. I've included a link to their website and socials down below, so check that out and say thanks to Wolfsport for helping us make the Yzilla dream our reality. This moment has been months in the making. I know we've released these videos in quick succession, but we have been thinking about this project night and day since July when we originally picked up the YZ250. The vision we originally had all those months ago has finally been fully realised. And I tell you what, it's such a cool feeling. We've come to Buttercup Farm in Cambridgeshire today to give the Yzilla her first feeding. The nervous anticipation is really starting to build now. This is the moment of truth. But first, let's get the beast fired into life. Oh yeah! I have just become the first person in history to hit the motocross track on a 2023 YZ500. So it's done then, the first laps on the Yzilla have been completed. I just did a handful of cruising laps there just to run the bike in, figure out what we need to look at. So we just pulled in now, Roland's getting some tools out. We're just going to look at the gearbox oil level, we're going to have a look at the jetting and the temperature and things like that. So there's a few things we're just going to look at now, and then we'll hit the track again. Okay, so we've just taken the plug out to check to see if it's running too lean, too rich, but that to me looks perfect. Nice biscuit colour, so we'll chuck that back in. Okay, so our first pit stop just coming to an end. Roland, just explain what you've done and why you've done it.
Okay, so I've reached it up a little bit on the needle, just one clip on the needle. It does sound a little bit sharp on the needle, so just to try and give it a little bit more fuel, try and keep it a little bit cooler. So gone one clip rich on the needle. I've just adjusted the tick over screw a little bit just to give it a bit of tick over. Check the coolant, Max has had a look at the spark plug. I've investigated. Yeah, spark plug looks good. Everything is looking good so far. But we've just got to make sure we keep the temperature under control. Get a little bit more fuel in the mid-range, I think, will help. And apart from that, yeah, all good.
Okay, so we've got one of our main channel test riders here, Sean Smith, with me now.
When you phoned me up and said, "Oh, we've got this little project, blah blah," yeah, we've done it. Do you fancy riding it? I did actually get a little shiver down my spine. Of 500.
Yeah. You've never really ridden 500s on a motocross track.
Nope. No.
So there's going to be a baptism of fire.
Yeah. That'll be interesting, won't it?
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So Sean's going to help us like try and work out the gearing and things like that. See what you reckon. So that's your mission. Just
Yeah.
work out if you think we need to go up, down, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's crack on.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that didn't go to plan, did it? Oh dear.
Okay, so Sean's just completed his first session on the Yzilla. It's a beast, right?
yeah, an absolute beast.
There's a couple of things that Sean wanted to have a look at, and one of them is Sean was struggling to change gear, especially down a gear, right? You think the distance between the foot peg and the gear shift
So
is a
the
lot.
centre of the foot peg to the centre, you know what I mean? That now I've just measured, 350 kgm, and you know your 10mm difference, so you're 180 there.
And you was 100.
Yeah, 170. So, and it does make a big difference because you're hunting for that gear, especially on a big 500. You want to be in control.
Yeah,
and I didn't feel in control because I couldn't find
That's
the
the
shifter,
thing,
especially going down the gears.
When you're on a bike this size with this much power, and it can bite back easy,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
you want to be in control at all times.
Yeah.
So then something like 10mm difference there to something that you're not used to is a lot.
Yeah, and they say size don't matter, but I'm telling you, that made a big difference.
Yeah.
Made a big difference.
We should have a fix for this. Roland's just run off to go and get a YZ500, a gear shifter, which should
It's shorter.
It's
Yeah, so
shorter,
it
which should
cure the
fix
problem.
that problem. Yeah. Weird things you find, right?
Strange.
Right, so if Sean is looking a bit paler than when we started, that's because the Yzilla has scared the absolute life out of you, right?
Yeah.
How did you find it? Obviously, we've done it, the bike is dirty, it's had a full test, it's even hit the deck a couple of times, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sean, just tell us what you thought of riding a YZ500.
At first, yeah, I was super scared. It just scared me. Just the 500.
There's just so much there, right?
But once I got used to it, and once I understood how it rode, how it produced its power, do you know what I mean? How it handled gears, ergonomics of the pegs, and you know the brake. I know it sounds strange, but even though it's a 22 bike, it felt so alien to me because it's a 500.
Yeah.
And you've got that thumping great big piston in there that when you shut the throttle off, it shoves all its weight forward, and you know it's something different. But in saying that, it's incredibly smooth. There's no vibration, and I believe that's because it's got a balance shaft.
Yeah, counterbalance shaft in it.
Yeah, that part of it was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, because I thought, oh, I'm going to be shaken to bits on this.
No, I didn't get arm pump.
Yeah,
You get arm pump?
you know,
No.
no tingling, no arm pump. Yeah, it's really good on that part. But you know, back to it's a 500.
Yeah.
It's a man's bike.
You've just got to rewire your brain slightly,
Yeah.
don't you, to ride something like that. It's like, you ride 125s, I ride 125s. Don't try to do that on this.
That's a bad mistake
Yeah.
to try and do that.
Yeah.
As I found out.
We did change the gear lever. We got, was it an 85 one we put on there in the end? Yeah, just because you noticed right away that the distance was a bit
it was
much.
basically it was 10 mil longer from the foot peg, so it made it real awkward for me to downshift. No, not so much upshift because you know you're hooking that gear anyway. It felt alien because I had to take the foot off the peg to shift down, which I found just alien and awkward.
Really disconcerting on a bike that you're not used to, and a bike that you're a bit scared of.
It was scary. I'm going to admit it. It was scary. You know that hit of 500 power when you're on the face of a jump and you don't want to be in the wrong part of the power when you hit the jump.
Yeah.
You know, it did take a while to get over the fear factor of
but by the end you look pretty good on it.
Yeah, you've got to read it, you've got to understand it, see how it works, see what the engine's doing. The engine has a lot to do with how the bike handles for me. When you've got like that big thumping piston and it pushes itself, you know, especially on the overrun, and you can feel it thumping forward. And it does make a difference, you know, for the handling. For me, it made a big difference. It just pushed the bike forward into the corners, you know, which then made it like want to tuck itself.
So like we said, you're just steering from the rear wheel, really, just on the power steering.
Yeah, I mean that's how I rode it. That's how I felt comfortable on it. Was basically steer from the rear, get it wide open and steer it. And I felt comfortable doing that because it didn't feel out of control. You know,
on a nice loamy track like today, it's quite easy to do that.
Yeah, it was awesome out there.
The other thing I asked you to have a think about was the gearing. What do you reckon?
So for this track, for me, the gearing was slightly off because, like I say, you're hitting the face of the jump in that wrong part of the power. As in, like, you were just on that edge of it, like wanting to send you to the moon. So you'd have to short shift or try and short shift. I think some of the jumps I was hitting in fourth gear, you only got to hit a bump or something like that. And these things are savage, aren't they? And I'll be like, you know.
And you'll be at the moon,
Yeah, I would have been in the moon. Yeah.
So you reckon up a couple of teeth?
Yeah, I mean, just so when you're firing it out the corner, you're already in third gear, so then you're already approaching the jump, you know, in the part of the power that you want, rather than being in that bit, like right on the edge of it, coming through the mid of the power onto the top, and you're hitting the face of the jump. You don't want that bit, you know, when you're hitting the jump, because you will, you know, for a weekend warrior, you're going to rocket yourself, and it'll be
you don't want that. Don't want that. We are the first two people in this country, if not the world, to ride one of these on a motocross track.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Privilege.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's next in the project then? Well, we'll take Sean's feedback, do a couple of adjustments, developments. I'm going to hit the dyno at some point, right, Roland? Hit the dyno. What else we got to do? Drag races. Someone's going to race this bike at some point. We're going to get it up against the CR500 as well. There's loads to come. Of course, we're going to get some pro riders on it as well. Plenty in store for the Yzilla project. Sean, thanks for coming to ride. Roland, thanks for all your help today and throughout the build. If you want to see more of the Yzilla beast, subscribe to the channel. As always, my name is Max. This is 999 Laser. Till next time, we'll see you at the track. So he'll probably fall off that. He's fallen off everything else today, isn't he?
Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, I fell out there. Start learning.
Okay.